Okay, so now we are actually going to solve some equations and then we're going to justify each step. And the way that we're going to set this up is as what we call a two-column proof. And so what that looks like is I'm going to have my statements on the left. So basically on the left I'm solving the equation. And then on the right I'm going to put the reason that I could do that step. And so we have this chart. So I always start with what's given. So I'm just going to write my equation down. And so your first reason is always given. And that's because you're given the equation to solve. And then I'm just going to go ahead and solve this. And so I need to make sure that after every single step I am writing why I was able to make that step. So I always like to start with moving all of my x's on one side, and I like to move the smaller one, so I'm going to add 4x to both sides. And so then I have to think, okay, which property allows me to add the same thing to both sides? Well, that's my addition, POE. And so I'm just going to write add POE. And so those cancel. 3x plus 4x, I get 7x. Okay, and what step did I do here? Well, I was just finishing adding them, and so I just simplified. Okay, my next step, I want to get x by itself, so I need to move my 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, well, what's the property that allows me to subtract the same thing on both sides? Well, that's my subtraction POE. (23 minus 2 is 21. And again, there I just finished subtracting, so I just simplified. Next, I want to divide both sides by 7. And so that's my division POE because I divided. And so I get x is equal to 3, and again, I just simplified at the end. And that's all the steps you need to do. So on the left, we're just solving the equation. On the right, we're giving each reason why we can do that. Okay, let's try another one together. So my statements, reasons, again, my first reason is always given. And now for this, since I have parentheses, I want to go ahead and distribute. And so negative 5 times 7w, I get negative 35w. Negative 5 times 8, I get negative 40. And the property I used there was distributive. Next, I'm going to add 40 to both sides since I want to get x by itself. Since I'm adding the same number on both sides, this is just addition POE. There, I just finished adding, so I just simplified. I simplified 30 plus 40. So if you notice, after addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication POE, you're always going to have simplify. Okay, then I'm going to divide negative 35 on both sides. So there I use division POE. And so I, in fact, do get w is equal to negative 2. So if you notice, at the very end, I ended with what I was trying to prove. So that beginning is that first step. At the end, I want to match up with what I'm trying to prove. And I showed all the steps to lead me from what I'm given to what I need to prove. And that's really the basis of proofs when we do it later on, is you start with something given and you want to find all the steps to figure out how you can get to what you're trying to prove. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. I want you to try number 3. Okay, so this is the answer you should have gotten. So I first added 11 to both sides, which was my addition POE. I simplified, divided by 6, which is my division POE, and at the very end I got x equals -4. Okay, and then for this last problem, I want to name the property of equality that the statement illustrates. So in part A, I have if measure of angle 6 is equal to measure of angle 7, then I can switch those and measure of angle 7 is equal to measure of angle 6. Well, if I go back to my properties, I see that's exactly my symmetric, where I just flip-flop them around. Okay, this one's saying 34 degrees is equal to 34 degrees. I'm saying something is equal to itself, and so that is my reflexive. And then for that last one, I have measure of angle 1 is equal to measure of angle 2, and measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 5. So measure of angle 1 is equal to measure of angle 5. So I have a lot going on there, but I see that my measure of angle 2 is both in the middle, and I ended with the first and last, that they're equal, and that property is my transitive. Okay, that is it for today. If you want to look at some extra examples, those are linked below. Otherwise, you can go ahead and move on to that Google Slides activity. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a great day.